Warning, the following episode is going to contain hijinks, phenomenal music, and may make you stop your car on the side of the road.
InObscuria!
Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast. A podcast where...
Ronnie James D.O.G.
Finish it. There you go. All right. Where we exhume obscure rock, punk, and metal. Knock it off. That's right, Ronnie James D.O.G. We put them in one of three categories. Yep. No, it's the lost, the forgotten, or the should have beens.
He was close.
He's almost there. All right.
That's good.
I'm going to cut your mic off now.
Fuck off.
My name, Kevin Williams. That guy over there, Robert Harrison.
Hello. Sorry, I'm out of breath.
Must be that jackass's fault.
It is. And while you were getting ready, I was chasing a dog through a parking lot of a grocery store because he got out. Again. And he's got a secret escape hatch somewhere. Usually I know where he gets out, but he's got a secret escape hatch because he's gotten out a couple of times and everything was locked up. Like tonight was my fault. I left the gate open, so he snuck out. And my phone alerts me about 2 minutes after he's gone. So he's got a pretty good head start.
Now he's molesting his blanket.
Molesting his blanket. Oh my God, this dog. He's 6 years old. He's middle aged, and this is my life. Yeah,
mid crisis.
Yeah, mid dog life crisis. Yeah. Then hey, quit chewing the damn. It's a good sleeping bag.
Jeez.
What is it? The cold, like the weather changed and it's a little bit cooler.
Oh, it is nice.
They get frisky. I think that's what it is.
Look at me. It's so nice outside. Look at my shirt.
It was October 31st. It's for tour.
Yeah. Oh, and we've got Mr. Insecurity.
Yes, not security, but insecurity. I'm in charge of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's been one of those nights. It's just everything's going on.
Do you have other stories to tell us? I mean, how was your week since we last talked?
I don't remember. It was a good week.
Okay, well, that's a good week usually
good
when
week.
You can't remember.
No, these days it's all work. I will have fun and do crazy stuff again at some point for the next few weeks. I still have to be an adult and do adult stuff and work and do things and clean churches and throw away chairs and throw away stuff and dumpsters, plural, full of stuff from a church that kind of smells, and it's just been closed up. It's been nothing bad. It's just been locked up and the buildings have not been open for dozens of years probably.
And now it's time for church chat.
Well, isn't that special?
Didn't find any lost congregation members in there, did you?
No,
That's
thankfully.
Good.
Thankfully, nobody got locked in the building. So it's all old chairs and desks. You know, the old school vintage desks that are one piece that...
Oh, yeah, the little table.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, those are so cool. Those are so cool. You can't give them away. Everybody has one. And so it's just one of those things that people...
They're not that cool.
Oh, you could sell those. I'm like, no, you can't. Yeah, you can give them away for, 50 cents if you want to.
You can pay somebody to come pick them up.
I've been just putting the word out, like, come get everything. Come get chairs, come get tables that I'm not going to use. And yeah, so that's been my week. And I'm happy to say that's fine with me right now. I'm happy to have a very busy week that may not be that exciting, but this is what I've been planning for 6 years.
Well, how about any buttons I need to push, perhaps?
Just one.
Oh, yeah.
Just one. The main one.
That's right, Munchketeers. It's time to get your grub on with the chef that can give it to you funky style.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Roberts. Who?
Gardner Eaton.
This guy.
Roberts.
That guy.
Gardner Eaton. Wow!
Tonight, was taco salad night.
Ooh, taco salad.
Favorite nights. Went to the store, got all the stuff, man. I made cheese and meat and the chips and the sour cream and the salsa and some peppers and more meat. And realized I got everything except the salad.
Oh, you forgot the salad
Forgot
part.
the salad part.
A salad just means it's broken up on a plate.
I guess so. So it's still damn good. It probably was not healthy, but I don't care. It was just one of those nights. It was like when you have, you eat your feelings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was doing that tonight. So I've just been stressed out and working too hard. And
Where's my plate?
Where's your plate?
Where's my plate?
Well, you don't eat stuff like that.
Oh.
You don't need to eat stuff like that. You're healthy. You're a rational person.
We'll see how healthy I am. You know what I get to do on Monday?
I know. That's why I'm waiting until after that to get the Roto-Rooter.
Yeah.
Well,
I get the colonoscopy
on
Monday and also an endoscopy. So that means they're going in both ends.
Oppie and Opie.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be skewered.
Are you going to be live streaming this or recording this for posterity?
Yeah.
Posterity?
I think we'll just have a podcast of it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you should get a snippet.
Because they give you the gas, I think, and put you out. And then you say all sorts of weird shit when you wake up.
Kevin's colonoscopy. That's right. But I do. Yeah, you're going to be doing that.
Oh.
See, instead of taco salad, I brought you something even better.
Okay.
A plate of my nuts.
What the hell you say?
It's technically a flight of nuts.
A flight of nuts.
These are pickled nuts.
Pickled? No, why three? Different flavors?
3 different flavors.
I see.
They're pickled in. I don't know.
You didn't put numbers on
I
them.
didn't put it.
You
Yeah,
don't know.
you just have to figure it out.
You don't know what I'm eating. Why don't you
Yeah.
take one and I'll take one, then you can tell me what it is.
So one's pickled in Maker's Mark.
Oh my God.
One's pickled in rum, and one's pickled in variable, wild card, as you like to say.
I just got the rum.
You got the rum? Yeah, that's so. I'm looking for. This is the first try. I need some input. Like, which one's your favorite, so I can just go in that direction.
So the chocolate's still there.
Yeah,
The peanut butter's not.
yeah, because I didn't put peanut butter in this one.
Okay, good.
I can add it back
work.
in.
I don't know that would work.
Exactly. That's why I was like, yeah, let me just start with the basics here. So it's dark chocolate covered pecans.
Might I tell you how succulent your nuts are?
Thank you. When you cup them in your hands like that, it really makes them feel good.
Let me just gently
Gently,
pick it
please.
up.
Yes.
I'm just sort of rolling it around in my hands a little bit
So
here.
Pirate's nuts, Pirate's pickled pecans, and then the other one was Maker's Mark.
Oh.
And then the third one, see if you can guess what that is.
I don't know what this is.
The Maker's Mark has a delay. It's kind of like a spice that kicks in like every 5 or 6 seconds.
I may come back to that middle one because I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that is. Let me see if I can pick it out. All right, going for the third one here. That's the Makers.
Yeah. So the middle one, Bailey's. Chocolate Bailey's.
All right.
We're getting into wintertime. I needed some chocolate Bailey's for my coffee in the morning. You know, get going in the mornings. Some people have
no.
He can't have that.
You can't have these.
No,
Chocolate
he's
bad.
He's putting on his begging face.
Chocolate bad.
You know, some people have protein shakes in the morning and things like that, and they work out. And I'll have that bottle of Bailey's right there next to
Sometimes
my coffee maker.
they have a couple of your nuts.
Yeah, sometimes
And then that gives them a protein shake.
it really does. Gets them going.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
So the Bailey's and the rum, the Makers,
Makers is
Yeah,
okay.
it's
You're
okay.
right. It was subtle.
yeah, it was very. And once again, this is the first try.
of the sucking of the nut.
Yeah, that's what happens. Usually, it does come at the end.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep playing with my nuts, and we'll have some more tastings.
All right. Well, after you try a flight of nuts, go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, Sean Geek and Fast Fret Podcast,
Which
State of Amorica.
We've got mentioned twice in a row, according to them.
Oh, yes, we
On
did.
their
That's, you know what?
podcast. That's
We
a
will
record.
Yes, we should stop. Sean Geek, thank you very much for mentioning us and
Yes.
telling his listeners that this is his second favorite podcast.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
One of these days, we'll make it up the last.
He said favorite, and he was like, "Oh no, but I like this other one better." And that's all right.
That's all right.
That is all right. Thank you very much. I think I mentioned State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Shout It Out Loudcast, the Ron Keel Podcast, the Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retrozest Podcast, and Don't forget about Monty.
Hey, this is Monty Colvin from Galactic Cowboys and Monty's Rockcast, and you are listening to the amazing InObscuria podcast. Rock on!
Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us, inobscuria.com. Like us, share us, Facebook, X, Instagram. All right, before we get into tonight's subject, we have a couple of reviews.
Oh, we got some business to take care of.
We got some business here. So we've got one good review and one bad review.
And they're both from Kristen.
No. So let's start with a good one. And this is actually our first interactive review.
Interactive?
Mm-hmm. Don't know how this happened, but it came in and it was interactive.
Okay.
And it is from the Mighty K.
Scratch and sniff?
Maybe. It is from the Mighty K. So let's hear. You got the first one right. It is from the Mighty K. This is her review of Space Rock, which we had said on the episode we didn't think she would stick around. We weren't sure.
I wasn't sure if that was her genre.
So let's see what she says about our episode 246, Space Rock.
Scragloglan.
What the hell did you just say?
Or however you say it, Vermilion Sky. They remind me of Gojira.
It's pronounced Gojira.
Well, shit, no, it ain't.
I really like them a lot. I like Gojira.
It's Gojira.
So I like these guys. So far, I like every band that you've played.
Wow, how did you know how that happened?
She's having her own podcast.
I guess so.
Her podcast is basically her calling into other podcasts with sound effects and voices and things. Shtick.
Who was that person coming in and giving her the right pronunciation of a French band?
New York Bobby J. Upstate New York Bobby J.
All right, so that was the good review. We didn't know if she would like it. She did like it, so thank you, Mighty K, for listening and enjoying Space Rock. Now, we got another review. And this is from someone simply identifying herself as Karen, former listener of the show.
Whoa! We're so good that we have former listeners.
Yeah.
That's nice. I really like that. I'm proud of that.
I'm pretty sure Karen has disguised her voice, as you'll notice in this message. But she sent this to us. Obviously, she doesn't want us to figure out her identity, who she is. But here is Karen, former listener of the show.
What the hell is with this Mighty K shit? What the frig? This is getting to be goddamn ridiculous. And also, Robert, I am sick of your voice, and Jesus Christ on the cross.
That was Karen, former listener of InObscuria podcast. It's one thing to say she doesn't like you and to basically say that she wants to crucify me, but you do not talk bad about Mighty K.
That's right. We
won't stand for that shit.
Yeah, who is Karen? She sounds like she's on roids.
That's what I'm saying. I think that was a voice disguise. But we are kicking her out of anything she's signed up to.
You're out.
You're done.
We'll have our staff
out of here.
Eradicate her from all of our marketing materials, lists, anything like that. Prize packages. You're done.
She's been canceled.
Yep, canceled.
Canceled. Okay. So let's get into this week's subject. I'm rubbing my hands together. Here we go. We do not need to go to the crystal ball or the Ouija board, even though it's on the floor right beneath us.
We're standing on it.
Yes. No. This subject matter has been delivered to us by the one and the only Captain Content. So lots of suggestions and links were sent to me signifying the need for this episode. So let's make this official. Here is Mighty K's approval via our usual Captain Content snippet.
Captain Content. Mother frickin' thumb again. Ugh. Oh my god, I love
Innuendos. Chock full of innuendos. I could not believe it. I want to see pictures.
It is not that kind of show.
No.
I don't know what got sent to her.
Audible excellence, but other than that.
Settle down, lady. Settle down. All right, so that means only one thing, because I got all the songs, so I know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Episode 248, Splinters and Stitches, Supergroups and Offshoots, Part 3. And the crowd rejoices.
Wow. Coming in combined weight of approximately 664 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. And the crowd goes wild.
Yes, so we've done this, obviously, twice before. Supergroups, music groups whose members are already successful as either solo artists or as part of another group or another band. Most of the time, they get maybe one album in and it doesn't last
Somebody
long.
overdoses.
Yeah, or something happens, right? Or they just go back to wherever they came from. Offshoots are sort of supergroups, but it's more like side projects where, certain members of a certain band go and do something else, but they do it together, maybe without one or two people. So that's what I call an offshoot. We're going to talk about how fragile these supergroups are, because I don't think there's a single one we're playing tonight that has lasted very long. Maybe we'll have one, but we've done this before. We usually span rock and punk and metal. We're going to do that again tonight. And you sent me quite a few of these. And the first one is a Captain Content song that you sent me, or actually a Captain Content band that you sent me. And you sent it to me about a month ago, so not sure if you'll remember. Nope. You sent me a text and you said, have we ever played these guys? And my answer is no, but we're about to.
Woohoo!
All right. So this is a British-American supergroup formed in 1995 consisting of Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, Matt Sorum and Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, John Taylor from Duran Duran. And the first lineup actually featured Billy Idol and Steve Stevens.
Oh,
but
yeah.
This is not what we're about to hear. They weren't in what we're about to hear. They were replaced by Jones and Taylor. So originally it was just some guys that got together in Hollywood to jam at the Viper Room. And then they decided, we could make something of this. And they released one album in September of 1996, did a little bit of touring in Europe and North America, and then that was kind of it. Now, this is the first of two collaborations between Steve Jones and John Taylor, which I never would have put Sex Pistols and Duran Duran together, but that happened. And actually, Steve Jones played on Duran Duran's 2015 album Paper Gods, which I've never heard, actually.
Nope.
There's a lot of later era Duran Duran that I need to dig into. I've just never listened to it.
I need some more content. Yeah, so that's good.
So I'm actually reading John Taylor's autobiography right now.
Just hold your wad there, fella.
Okay. I'm not reading it. I'm listening to it
on
Audible, but that was a recommendation from our very own amazing listener, Mr. Steve Colwell, and former guest, or as we call him, Scoldwell.
Scold very well.
Yes. So this band is called Neurotic Outsiders, and you sent it to me, and the album they put out in 1996 is called Neurotic Outsiders as well. I thought we might as well play the first song on the album because the song title dictates that we must play it. Here's Nasty Ho.
Profound and prophetic lyrics.
And they were, probably in their 40s at this point.
Yeah, so
grown up.
That was written about somebody specific. That was not just written in general.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That kind of vitriol coming out of somebody. Nasty hoe.
Yeah, that was Steve Jones singing.
Yeah.
Playing guitar. I mentioned 2 bass players. I don't know if you noticed that. Duff McKagan and John Taylor, both are bass players.
Wait, was the Spinal Tap crap going on?
No. Duff decided to play guitar on this. in this band,
okay.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't want the first chair bass and second chair bass. First string bass.
No, they decided not to do that.
Okay.
Do you remember this band at the time that this came out?
No, not at all.
I remember hearing about them. I remember seeing the album cover, but I didn't purchase it until much later. Like when Guns N' Roses had their little comeback, I went on a little Guns N' Roses spree for a bit.
Yeah, I have no
gobbled up a bunch of stuff.
But I was listening to it the time instead of this.
96. They played it on 99X.
Did they?
I think they played Jerk or one of the other singles, but not for very long because it was a little too rockin'.
Yeah. God, that's hard to say, but yeah, I guess they could have felt it.
For 96 for them, it was a little too.
They were
old school.
Yeah, they'd already passed the heaviness phase and were going to the more alt phase.
Yeah, and they weren't a Guns N' Roses type of.
No, that's
radio.
Old, that was
considered
old people
passé.
music. Yeah.
So I always thought it was cool, but only one album. That's all we got, and it's rather good. It's it's nothing that you're gonna put on every day.
They're not gonna make a movie out of it.
They're not gonna.
Still,
It's
good
it is
stuff.
what it is. It's still good stuff. All right, good players gives you good stuff. Okay, so now I'm gonna move to a band that is adjacent to an episode we did back in July. Because we talked about the awesomeness of the band Riot. Mm-hmm. You remember this, yes?
The horribleness of their mascot.
Johnny the Mighty Tior. Mm-hmm. This is Johnny's solo project. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is one of the members was in this band we're about to talk about. So in that episode, I told you my favorite singer. They had several singers in the band, but my favorite singer of a New York-based band that was Riot was a local boy from Tucker, Georgia, named Rhett Forrester.
Yes.
And we talked about Rhett in that episode. And in early '84, Riot played dates on a certain band's tour for an album they had and a tour they had called Lick It Up. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that band? Yes. No, it wasn't yes. It was Kiss. There's Kiss Connection with a K. Yes, Riot were opening for Kiss on the Lick It Up tour in 1984 alongside Vandenberg, but they split up shortly after, or at least that version of the band split up shortly after due to lack of funds, because we talked about how Riot was not managed very well, didn't have a lot of label support, and were just kind of getting by. So what did Rhett do? He said, I'm out of here. I've done a couple albums. I'm done. I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to put out a solo album. So he puts the solo album out in 1984, and then in 1985, Combat Records said, hey, we're putting together a project. This is one of these supergroup project bands. Mm-hmm. It was never intended to do anything more than just the one album. And it's sort of an offshoot as well because it features mostly New York-based musicians and kind of bands that were maybe our level, in InObscuria-worthy bands, bands we've talked about. So there were members from The Rods. We've played The Rods before. There was a certain member from Talus, which was a guy that we gave some potted meat to, Mr. Billy Sheehan.
Mr. Sheehan.
And some guys from Anthrax, even from the band Dust, who we've played before. And contributing vocals on the one song Bad Boys is Mr. Rhett Forrester. So let's hear what he sounds like on this conglomeration of all the bands I just named on this Combat Records project called Thrasher that came out in 1985, called Thrasher. But it's not really thrash.
It's not skate punk.
I guess you could say that maybe. Combat Records were known for that audience. But this song Bad Boys on Thrasher doesn't come across as thrash. So
I mean, they used it on Cops all the time.
It is a theme song. It's true. It is a theme song from Cops. So if you're familiar with this song, sorry, here it is again.
honey, you know.
The song sounded like it was written, recorded, performed completely drunk, like from start to finish.
I was thinking cocaine, but maybe drunk.
Altered. Let's just say altered. Because it was 1984, so it's probably both. But yeah, the song itself is not bad. I'm just saying it sounded like it was as raw as you can get, which is kind of fun. I enjoy that. But it showcased Rhett's vocal theatrics. And
yeah, he was having fun.
He was having a great time. I mean, I was envious of how much fun he was having, but he sounded very similar to 1984 Vince Neil. Not 1989 or 94 Vince Neil, but 84 specifically.
Right.
He had that range and the affectations that at the end of each phrase, he had to do something just absolutely off the charts.
Well, I mean, it's one of these albums where they're putting all these players together, right?
Showboat.
So they're all showboating, and even the vocalist, he's got to do a little showboating as well. And that was the scene, it was 1985.
Yeah. But hearing that, I mean, he had everything it took to make it huge, and he didn't.
No.
And it's sad. You've got to remind yourself, we have to remind ourselves that there were probably 462 other Rhetts out there at any given time with the same story that were really close. I mean, there's thousands of bad ones, but then the people that were right behind the Vince Neils and the Bret Michaels and all those guys, hundreds of people probably that were really good that just didn't quite work out for them luck-wise or, fate, whatever it is.
Part of the reason that Baco, yes, Riot should have been huge.
Yeah.
He claims no.
I don't know.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, but at least Rhett, he had the chops to do bigger and better things. I don't know, just didn't work out that way.
Didn't work out for him, and we told the story almost 10 years later. He's in Atlanta. He's shot and killed.
Yeah.
Carjacking in Atlanta.
It just stayed that way.
So he was only 37.
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible. But that band in that song, so I don't know if you noticed, but it was a pretty crappy recording because I had to rip that off of an old album that I have, and it's not the best.
I figured there weren't
not
that
the best
many
shape.
Polished copies of that sitting around.
I couldn't find it, and so I'll just rip it.
Yeah.
And of course, it was not in the best shape, the version that I have, because I didn't take care of things back in 1985. But I loved Combat Records. That's where Megadeth were at the time, and so things that were coming out on Combat, I was like, oh, I know I'm going to like it. It was called Thrasher.
Yeah.
It didn't, at the time sound like thrash, so I didn't listen to it
early
a lot.
in thrash days. That was in the infancy of thrash.
I know, but it came across more like Motley Crue meets Anthrax.
That did, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, so at the time, I didn't appreciate it like I do now.
It was upbeat, and that's about all it had in common.
Exactly, and the guitar leads were nonstop and blistering.
Yeah.
So it had that going for it, but still fun to listen to. Go listen to the whole album. There's about 12 to 14 different players on it, and most of them you know who they are, and some of them you probably have to look up, but it's pretty good.
That's what Google's for.
Exactly. Okay, next, an 80s supergroup that unfortunately released their album in 1991. And if you don't know why there's only one album from this group, well, I just kind of told you. Yes, this was a band formed in Hollywood, another one formed in Hollywood in 1990. And the band consisted of Joel Ellis, who was in a sleaze band called Cats and Boots, who we haven't played yet, but I'm sure eventually we'll get to them. The guitarist in this band, you might know, his name is Gary Hoey, and he was a solo guitar shredder. And in 93, he had a hit with the cover of Hocus Pocus, originally by Focus.
Right.
But no, redone by Gary Hoey.
Hoey Foey.
Hoey does Hocus Pocus.
I remember the name. I can't tell you anything else about it, but I remember that name.
Yeah, he was kind of like one of these Eric Johnson type of guys. He would play blistering stuff, but then he'd kind of have stuff that was a little more, I don't know, melancholy. Yeah. I don't know that's probably not the right word, but he wasn't Joe Satriani. He wasn't Steve Vai. He had his own thing going.
But like 90 to 93, there was
a ton of them.
Of the Satriani. I mean, Gary Moore.
Vinnie Moore. There were two.
There were two?
Yeah, there was a Vinnie Moore and Gary Moore.
No, I don't know who Vinnie Moore is. We'll have to talk about that. But a lot of the Guitar Hero type guys before there was a Guitar Hero video game, they'd all had these big soaring hits. A lot of more ballads, but still, there's a lot of amazing. That was right when I was learning
Michael
to play.
Lee Firkins. You don't remember him?
Firkins?
Yeah, you don't remember Michael Lee
with
Firkins?
An F?
Yeah, with an F.
No.
Yeah, he was a blistering guitar player too.
Well,
there's a ton of them.
If I don't know about it, they need to be played on this episode. That's kind of where the threshold is.
Well, we'll get to them.
If I've heard of them, we can't play them.
Anyway, I didn't finish. So Gary Hoey's on guitar. A guy named Rex Tennyson. Great name.
That is a good one.
Rex Tennyson from the band Hellion. He's on bass. And then filling in on drums, none other than Frankie Banali from Quiet Riot. So you've got Cats and Boots mixed with a shredder, mixed with Hellion, who's kind of a sort of a hair metal / power metal band, and Quiet Riot to give us the band Heavy Bones.
This better be good.
Heavy Bones, I'm going to tell you, this is a really good album, but it came out in 1991, and things were just kind of changing then, even though there were some bands that were making it still into 92 and 93. We've talked about this.
Yeah,
but
it was not an immediate change, but things were happening quickly.
And there were a bunch of these bands. We talked about that. It was just saturated. You said it a few episodes ago. So this is one of those bands that is actually really good, but just couldn't make it in that scene because of what was going on. They were signed to Reprise Records, and their self-titled, like I said, was released in 91, but their 80s style hair metal made it a little obsolete when this came out. And, maybe having the guy from Quiet Riot and some other bands that didn't quite make it didn't help. I don't know. But it's a good album. We'll let you be the judge. Here is one of the two singles. So think back, put yourself back in 1991. This comes on the radio. What are you going to say? Here's the song, 4 a.m. TM.
halfway through the song, I realized I was listening to that with the same kind of mindset that I had in 1991, where I was thinking, all right, okay, yeah, okay. The voice thing, the like, whatever, I can't even imitate it. It's just like, I've had enough of that.
Oh, okay.
And that was my state of mind about 1991 of the hair stuff. I'm like, I think I'm done with this.
Ready for it to move on.
I was just ready to move on. I didn't know what, but yeah, the stuff that came out was perfectly timed for people like me that were just kind of done with that weirdness. I don't know what to call it. But the music was fine. Nothing wrong with the music, but the voice thing, we'd been hearing that since 1982, probably.
Dr. Feelgood came out in 1989. This sort of had a Dr. Feelgood thing to it. Even the voice is a little Vince Neil mixed with Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. And
absolutely right.
And maybe a little Skid Row thrown in there.
Yeah, I could never listen to a Cinderella album.
No?
No.
Oh, I love their albums.
No, because it's just, like I said, that voice thing. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it sounds like to me. Yeah, I'd rather sit through a presidential debate than listen to that crap.
No, don't do that.
No, I would never do it.
Oh, well, Heavy Bones, 1991. Yeah, I think they were maybe a little too close to Skid Row and Motley Crue. And I mean, great playing. It's a good album to go back and listen to, but I can see in the context of when it came out, why it didn't probably go further. Overdone. Yeah. Maybe you could almost put this band in the in-betweener, but not quite. They're still very 80s.
You actually take the voice out. Take something else.
Because the music was heavy and it was like going further than a typical hair band, but it still had that Motley Crue feel-good sound to it. So
you nailed that. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're exactly right. The feel-good dun 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 dun.
Even the chunkiness of the guitars. I mean, it came across as Skid Row or Motley Crue to me at that time, but still really good. Go back and listen to it now because now you've got a little nostalgia for it, so you can go back and listen, and it's great.
It's much better the third or fourth time around when it's been 25 years.
Yep. So that was kind of our hair metal supergroup. How about a punk rock?
Yeah.
An old school punk rock
That's what
supergroup
I need right now.
Formed in 2022. These are a bunch of old punkers that got together. These are all guys with lots of gray and wrinkles, and they was like, you know what? We're going to do it again. You've got Greg Norton, an American musician, amazing bass player from the band Husker Du.
Husker Doosker.
Yep, you got a Husker Doer, and you have singer-guitarist Finney McConnell. He's a Canadian, he's Canadian, but he's in an Irish folk punk band called the Mahones. Or either the Mahones. Maybe it's just the Mahones.
I think it'd be Mahones.
Yeah.
If it was a Latino band, it'd be
the Cajones. We'll just go with the Mahones.
Yeah.
You can tell it's not a band that I listen to. I'm not familiar with that band, but
can't listen to everything.
Maybe one day.
Someday.
The Mahones. Yeah. And the original drummer was a British guy named Jamie Oliver, who had been in bands like the UK Subs and SNFU. We're talking way back hardcore punk. But now they have an American drummer, and it's one of my favorite punk rock drummers. Derek O'Brien is now the drummer in this band called Ultra Bomb. He was the drummer originally with Social Distortion. He played with Agent Orange for a while.
Wow.
Just a great drummer. And so the band Ultra Bomb. Great name for an old punker band. Like I said, they got together in 2022. Go look at a picture of them and you're like, those guys are looking old.
They had a rough life.
Wow, those are some old punkers.
They use their bodies to the fullest.
If you want to go see them live, they're actually touring right now because they released their second album this year, and they're out in the States touring right now.
You think they play someplace like the Earl? Or
Exactly. They play, a smaller place that it has a big enough crowd that, you'll get fans of their bands, but probably not much more.
Yeah.
And so I would actually love to go see this band. The reason I'm not playing from their new album, however, is I'm going to play from their first album that came out in 2022 because when I got it, the first song, the reason I got it is because it sounded like Husker Du. It gave me that old school Husker Du vibe that I hadn't heard for a long time, even though Bob Moulds put out a ton of solo albums.
Yeah.
His solo albums sound like Sugar. They don't sound like Husker Du.
Right.
Because he was the guy in Sugar, and that's just kind of where he went after Husker Du. Greg Norton, however, brings that old Husker Du vibe to this song, and so I'm going to play this song called Time to Burn from the album Time to Burn. This is Ultra Bomb.
now we're talking. That's what the inside of my brain sounds like the past couple of weeks.
Oh,
I mean, it's just a mile a minute. But if I had listened to this back, let's say in my teens, I would have considered this like hardcore punk. It's funny to think about it that way, but back then I just wasn't exposed to punk. I knew who the Sex Pistols were, and that was probably it. And I'd heard of people like Dead Milkmen, Dead Kennedys and stuff, and we used to joke about that, Dead this, Dead that, but I didn't know anything about it. And so I think it took till Green Day, and I'm like, oh, somebody said punk, and I'm like, oh, okay, punk, yeah. And then it started going back.
It took pop punk to pull you in then.
Yeah, pop punk, exactly. And then I started going back, and then absolutely meeting you, and getting exposed to Agent Orange and people like that. Schooled, yeah. I didn't know who TSOL was.
Getting old schooled.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that until I met you. And so you definitely pulled me into that genre. Yeah, right there above my head, TSOL. So now that I hear that, I have fallen in love with the Husker Du-roos, all those guys. I think it was last year I went through.
You got on a Husker Du kick, right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah, I went through all of it several times. And Sugar, Captain Ryan. I think he's the one that taught me into going to see Bob Mould at the... was that West?
Terminal West.
Terminal West. Yeah, yeah. The new venue. Well, not new anymore. It's a few years old.
It's like 10 years old now.
10 years old, but it's still the new one.
We're old, so the things that are 10 years old, this is new.
Right around the corner, right down the street. Yeah. So yeah, I've slowly it's taken 10 years probably to get a flavor of that, and so this is now right in my wheelhouse. It's not super edgy punk, but it's just fast and hard. I really like that.
Yeah. Did it give you Husker Du vibes?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Would you have picked up on that without me saying it? Yeah. Husker Du, I didn't get into them until maybe my freshman year of college. I knew about them. I knew they were on SST. So if you don't know anything about Husker Du, because they're not a mainstream act, they were a punk band from Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were on SST, which is the label that had Black Flag and a bunch of other punk groups, but most of those bands were based out of LA or based out of California. Husker Du were kind of the outlier on that label. But a lot of people were into Black Flag. That was kind of like one of those punk bands that everybody had to get into. And you would see the bars on everybody's back of their jackets, drawn on as they were skateboarding and whatnot. Big skateboarding band, even though they're a punk band. Husker Du, not so much, because they came across as like stoner punk.
Yeah.
like it was fast, but it was kind of jangly at the same time.
It's a melody,
sort of like Red Cross. It's punk, but it's not quite punk.
Yeah.
But they were kind of proggy. Yet they had an album called Land Speed Record where they play 15 songs in 5 minutes or something like that, something crazy. But yeah, so I didn't really get into them until my freshman year. I was getting ready to go to college, and I got their album Zen Arcade. And I will tell anyone, if you don't know who Husker Du is, go listen to Zen Arcade, and either you'll love it or you'll hate it.
That is the gateway. You're going to take a right and keep going, or take a left and just fall off.
It's a double album, so strap in.
Strap on. I mean, in.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. But I just always love Husker Du since that time, and really one of my favorite punk bands of all time. They're on the banner there below you, I believe.
Right there.
Yeah.
They got
big. They're in big letters.
They got the 86 font.
Yes, they're in big letters for a reason. We will be doing something on Husker Du eventually.
All right.
We just haven't gotten there yet.
Now we got a list. We'll get to it, people.
But this band, Ultra Bomb, go check them out. If you like old school punk, not every song is like a Husker Du kind of sound. It has, a bunch of different tones to it, but it's all punk rock, and it's like all old school punk rock. So it's not that poppy stuff that you may be used to if you're not really into punk and you're like, all you know is kind of what you've heard from Blink-182. That's not really what this is.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in between 80s hardcore punk and that. But the new album that came out this year, pretty damn good, so go check it out. Ultra Bomb.
They get props for having a second album.
Exactly. That's
how good it is.
That's how good they are. All right, so we got the punk out of the way. I think we need to go back to Hollywood. Don't you think? We need to go back to Hollywood. Let's talk about a glam rock offshoot, another one. Except this one didn't take place until 2006.
Okay, so this is more nostalgia based.
So this is more of a nostalgia based band. In 2006, Rat drummer Bobby Blotzer got together with Kerry Kelly, who is currently in Night Ranger. You ever heard of Kerry Kelly before?
No.
So he's the guy right now in Night Ranger playing that kind of second guitar spot. Now this guy, Kerry Kelly, he's been in a ton of bands.
Jack Blades has got the first chair.
What the hell did you just say?
No, Jack Blades is a bass player.
Bass player. Who's the guitar player?
Brad
Special. Brad person guy.
I'm blanking on
Delp.
his name right now.
Brad Delp.
It's not Brad Delp. How can I blank on his name? I just did an episode on, it's just on the tip of my tongue. Brad Gillis.
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
What a dumbass.
No. We both get that. I should have known that. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, of course.
I was going to say Rustoven, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
No, he's retired.
Yeah.
He's retired from guitar playing.
Kerry Kelly. Here's some other bands that he's been in over the years. Big Bang Babies. We haven't heard them yet. We might one day. Pretty Boy Floyd.
Was that Stone Temple Pilots cover?
No, it's not. But that was one of their songs. Yeah. Pretty Boy Floyd, he was in that band. He was in Slash's Snake Pit. He was in Warrant for a little bit. Damn. He was in LA Guns for a little bit. He played for Alice Cooper for a little bit. He played with Stephen Pearcy's bands.
Oh, he really is a hired gun.
So he's been around. So he's in this band. And on bass, you have Chuck Wright. He was the original Quiet Riot bass player who left right before they got big. I think he played one song on Metal Health, and then Rudy Sarzo came in.
I was going to say Sarzo took over. It's like, I got it. Thank you. Let me just take that from you there.
He was also in the band Jufria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that band. And he was
pronounced G-Fire.
And he was in House of Lords, but Chuck Wright on the bass. And then the singer. Who are you going to get to sing for an LA formed in 2006 heavy metal, glam metal offshoot?
Take your pick. They're all unemployed.
Janie Lane from Warrant.
Oh, my God.
So you got the guy from Warrant. Yes, and this band is called Saints of the Underground. It's actually a really good album. It's called Love the Sin, Hate the Sinner. Came out in 2008.
We heard that a few times, didn't we?
So, as with a lot of these groups, they came together by playing cover tunes just for fun in clubs, and then they decided, you know what, we should do this. Originally, they were going to call themselves the Angel City Outlaws. They ended up going with Saints of the Underground. Very Hollywood of the time, of the 80s time, I guess. So they released this one studio album. They recorded it at Bobby Blotter's studio and Kerry Kelly's studio. They all produced it, so it's basically just them doing their thing. But then they got Andy Johns to come in and mix it. So when you hear this thing, you're going to be like, damn, it sounds good. Because Andy Johns is the guy who worked with Zeppelin, Stones. He's worked with everyone. But he made it sound really good, even though they did home recording. They did a little bit of touring, but they were still in their groups at the time, even though their groups were probably playing the same crowds that they were playing to as this band, but they decided to do that. On August 11th, 2011, this band officially ceased to exist, even though they hadn't done anything in a while, because Janie Lane was found dead in a hotel room in Woodland Hills, California, alcohol poisoning. So this actually marks his last full-length album that was released. He did some stuff after this. This came out in 2008. He did some guest vocals and sang on a song, but this is his last full album that he released. So I'm going to play the song Tomorrow Never Comes from Saints of the Underground from 2008.
So it's hard to listen to that without waiting for "She's my cherry pie."
Cherry pie guy.
Yeah, cherry pie. And I know, God, I know, because I've seen interviews how they struggled with that. That they all said they wish they'd never heard that song and had never recorded it.
That's what did him in.
Yeah,
he could not escape the cherry pie guy, and he actually, I think his autobiography is out or coming out, or I don't know. I think it's a movie, like it's not an autobiography. What do you call that? A biopic.
Biopic.
I think it's biopic. But Cherry Pie Guy, I think, is the title of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, there are plenty of other bands that had a cheesy one-hit wonder, but for some reason,
they couldn't
that
escape.
Was just visceral. How
Do you know the story behind that song?
I mean, I've seen behind the music, but that was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the quick story is they needed one more song, and they were like,
just to add on.
They were like, "Pour Some Sugar on Me" was a huge hit. Just go do something like that, and he just whipped it out really
something
quick.
About dessert.
Yeah, just whipped it out really quick. And yeah, that ended up being the thing that just went crazy for them.
And I had thought that he had passed away earlier than that. I didn't realize it was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like 2001 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But he had struggled with it that long and still just drank himself to death.
Yep. I mean, it's a disease, It
is, but yeah, he couldn't quite get past that. And by then, the nostalgia had kicked in. It wasn't cheesy anymore. I mean, it was cheesy, but it wasn't as horrible cheesy as it was in 95.
It was accepted again.
Yeah, but by 2002, 2005, their hair bands were back.
Were you a fan of Warrant?
No.
They were not. They were one of the bands that I could not get into.
I wasn't a fan of any of them. I would listen to them and just go, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous." Now, that being said,
but you are now.
I am now. But like Bon Jovi, "Dead or Alive." I thought, that's cool. That's a cool song. So the MTV hits, I would watch those. But then the Cherry Pie where they're dancing around, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, Warrant was one of the bands out of all of them that even though I'm listening to Sleazebees and Tiger Tails, but no, I can't get into Warrant. That's just too much.
Bullet Boys,
I loved
all that. Yeah, I just I would listen to it and go, it would just one ear and out the other.
I have much more of an appreciation for Warrant now than I did then.
Yeah, you appreciate the talent. Winger, I mean, Kip Winger was a running joke, and then you listen to we've talked about them here on the podcast, and you listen to it, and you're like, God, Reb. And all the talent they had.
they were all players.
Yeah, they were just insanely
Even Kip Winger
talented.
was a player, man.
Yeah. And so you learn to respect that. And it's sad that one song that was a joke song and it did them in.
And Janie Lane was a hell of a songwriter. He wrote some good, catchy tunes, but at the time I couldn't get into it. Now I can appreciate it. Although I will say his voice does annoy me a little bit. Something about his voice I don't like that much.
Yeah, it rubs you the wrong way.
But I like this album. Kerry Kelly sounds amazing. His guitar is really, really crunchy and cool.
Once again, same as the other song. There's nothing wrong with the music. It was fine. But for me personally, because of the particular vocalist, I can't get past. If I listened to the whole album, maybe it would stop reminding me of it. But listening to that's all I could think about was Cherry Pie. And I'm not hungry at all. I've had plenty of dinner. Taco salad still sitting right there.
Well, let's take you as far away from that as we possibly can.
Please
because next up is a not so obscure supergroup of the grunge era.
Yeah, this is the one I think.
This is probably the one you want to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play this because the captain, brought up your love of Alice in Chains. I don't know who she is, but you love
She's wonderful.
You love this artist named Alice in Chains.
Yes.
Throughout the history of the podcast, you've talked about Allison. Mm-hmm. So I think we are okay to play this here tonight. So formed in 1994 as a side project and offshoot of some other bands, mostly Mike McCready from Pearl Jam and Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, drummer Barrett Martin from Screaming Trees, and a bass player named John Baker Saunders, who I wasn't that familiar with at the time and still don't really know that much about him. But basically what happened was Mike McCready went into rehab. He met this guy, John Baker Saunders. They started playing at rehab and decided we need to do something and form a band. So he got together with Barrett Martin, who he knew as a drummer, and they started playing. And then he said, let's get Lane to play in this band since we're all sober. Maybe that'll help Lane get clean. And so that was the original reason to pull Lane into it, was to try to help him get clean because they were all sober at that point in time. And they did this album called Above. The name of the band is Mad Season.
Mm-hmm.
They recorded this in Seattle at Bad Animal Studio. We just talked about this. That is co-owned by Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a hell of an album that came out in 1995, had a minor little one single off of it, and then it kind of went away. But I bought this album in 1995. I actually owned the cassette.
For me, listening to that and Lane passing away not too long after that, it all that together, I still listen to it and get chills. I love that song. Yeah. Now, what was the other offshoot of Alice in Chains or in Pearl Jam? Not Mad Season. Was there Temple of the Dog?
That was
92.
That was not Alice in Chains.
Right.
That was Soundgarden.
Soundgarden. That's right. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking the date. It was more like early 90s, 92.
Yeah, that was that came out around is either 91 or 92. It came out the same time as Pearl Jam were breaking and as Soundgarden were breaking into the mainstream. So that was a tribute to Mother Love Bug.
Right, but that confused the piss out of me because I heard all three at the same time.
I'm going hungry.
Yeah, and I would hear. I'm like, aren't you on that? Wait a minute, you're in this band. These bands kind of sound alike. Well, there's a reason why. So I didn't know who they were, but all of a sudden these bands started coming on the radio, and that was just an amazing time because that was when I started really paying attention. As we talked about the hair bands, I'm on autopilot. I'm listening.
You're ready for something new.
Yeah, but I was listening, but I wasn't into it at the time that hair bands were big, and let's just say the late 90s. I'm listening to the classics, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I was buying albums from the old school stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like snapped you to reality and current music, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the shit. This is it. So we've told that story many times. Everybody else is kind of the same way, but hair bands, autopilot, listen to it. It was background music until later.
And of course, young Kevin just loved all of it.
Yeah, later on, I would learn to appreciate it, but at that time, I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I loved everything. Anything with hard, crunchy guitars, I didn't care, man. I loved it. This album Above was certified gold by June of 1995. And like I said, I had this on cassette, and I actually ripped the old cassette. I just put the cassette in and put it to my computer, so you might hear a little hiss here.
Oh, it's nostalgia right there.
But this is how I used to hear it, right?
That's right.
So,
and now my hearing's so bad, I don't hear this.
Yeah,
so it's great.
See if you hear the cassette here. This is Mad Season. I'm going to play the song, one of my favorites, called Lifeless Dead, 1995.
Lifeless dead, that unclean bed, till or when her hunger's fed. How he wished that they would wed. I promise on our love, she said. Alone on dirty floor he slept. And although he'd not accept, she was gone, and so he wept. Then a demon came to him. You must know I'm gonna win.
that's so good. Of all the horrible crap that is on social media, one of the rare, amazing videos out there, there's a couple of them, they've isolated his vocals on some live concerts. God, that'll just knock you down. I mean, it's just
what a singer.
Powerful.
Yeah.
The emotions, the pain that, looking back and seeing what he's going with it. Real.
It was real pain.
Absolutely. So that's one of the many reasons that it drew me in it wasn't just a show. It was they were singing about some heavy stuff and dark stuff. And I love the harmonies that we normally think of are major chords, big happy sounds, and they do it to minor chords, and it pulls it down.
All these sevenths and it's
and twelfths and things.
Yeah. Just something about the way that he could just put a phrase together. It just so good. This band, like I said, they released the album in 1995, and then they kind of went and did their respective things after that. But they still considered themselves together, and they thought they were going to do another album. But John Baker Saunders, the bass player, overdosed on heroin in 1999. That officially marked the end of the band. And then Staley, of course, was found dead in 2002. You don't get a lot of reunions of grunge bands.
No, that's the downside. It was good music.
Good music, but the pain was too much.
It was a lot of pain, and I don't know. That's where I guess I identify with it. It wasn't always easy times back then. The early 90s, later 90s were. After I moved in next door to you, it was some good times.
Those were party times.
times.
We started partying on Wednesday.
We got Monday.
You take Monday and Tuesday off.
Yeah, you got to dry out a little bit. Monday's more. I mean, Wednesday was happy hour.
Right.
Then Thursday was going out.
Thursday was full on.
And then Friday, you don't remember Friday.
Yeah.
But Saturday, we'd end up.
You wouldn't actually go out though until like 10 or 11. You wouldn't go to the bars.
I know.
Until 10 or 11.
That is the wildest thing to think about now. That if somebody calls me at 9 o'clock at night, hey man, why don't you meet me over? Like, no, I'm in a very comfortable house.
I'm feeling good and cozy right where I am.
But that's the whole point of having a firehouse. Is I for 9 years now, I'm able to convince people, like, why don't you just come over here? I got a hot tub. Okay.
Slide down my pole.
I got a pole and a hot tub. Enough said.
What else do you need?
The headlight starts coming down the street and I'm fine. It's not that I can't stay up late. I just don't like leaving the house after about 9 or 10 o'clock. Now, the other day we did the podcast and I left after the podcast and went out.
That's right.
And that was rare. I if I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave at a decent hour, stay out as late as I want to. But yeah, I left.
You just have to plan for it. At our age, you just gotta be prepared.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So I left the house at 10 o'clock.
That's not every night.
To go out. And I'm like, I have not done that in a very long time.
Every weekend.
Yeah,
for
every
years.
Weekend, 2 or 3 days a week for years.
Yeah, out until like 3 a.m.
It was easily 3. 3 was nothing. It was like, it's about time. 3's a reasonable hour to go home.
I got to get up at 8. I'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. That's okay. Yeah. And the times that Buckhead, if you're not from Atlanta, Buckhead was kind of the social area. It was like the French Quarter, but in Atlanta.
About 40
bars.
50 bars.
Yeah, and you would just wander around. How many times I was in Buckhead, midnight, standing next to an ATM because my paycheck was direct deposited. And if it's direct deposited, it hit at midnight on Thursday or Friday morning. And so we were out Thursday night, and I'm standing next to ATM to withdraw $20 for 3 more beers. Like, come on, 11:59. 11:59.
Those were the days.
Midnight, here we go. Boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. $20, please.
And there was probably a line.
Yeah. And I think my account was already overdrawn at that time, so I'd get like $150 deposited total.
Now, was that the ATM across the street from the Roxy?
Yep.
Because that's the one I remember.
Oh, yeah, that was the one. It was sticky. It was very sticky.
Gross.
It was gross.
You get stuck up.
Yes, yeah. It's not the safest place at midnight.
All right, well, I got one more for you.
All right.
One more supergroup.
You're on a roll. You started off, it was a little wobbly. The wheels were kind of shaking, but now you're full on. Let's keep it going.
All right, so this one's interesting. This is interesting. So before we get into this, I need to ask you a question.
Oh, boy.
All right, do you think...
math?
No math here. Do you think that the song Stairway to Heaven was a hit?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, at the time.
At the time, it was a hit single?
No, I'm saying, no, it was not a hit at the time. It became a hit. The band hated it. They thought it was boring to play.
Okay, so you're right. It was not a hit, even though everybody thinks it probably was because it's known as their biggest song for Led Zeppelin. So it was the most requested song on FM radio stations when it came out in the U.S., but it was never released as a single Atlantic Records wanted to issue it as a single, but Zepp's manager Peter Grant refused the request for them to release it as a single. They tried in 72, and Atlantic tried again in 73 because of all the requests they were getting to have it played. So the reason Peter Grant did that is he wanted people to buy the album. So the result was that a lot of people bought album number 4 from Led Zeppelin, and it's their best-selling album to date worldwide. 37 million copies have been sold, primarily because there was no single released of Stairway to Heaven.
Peter was a mad genius.
He was a genius.
A big dude, and
he was a bully.
To the right people. I mean, to the band, I think
he took care of the band.
Took care of them. Yeah. But to all the venue owners, which, you know what? There needs to be more people like him these days.
You're probably right. Yeah, he was aggressive. He got what he wanted, and he was kind of a mobster kind of character. But he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, knowing that it was not a hit, it had no chart success because it was never released as a single.
But then,
however,
in 1991. It was used as my final exam in my guitar class.
That's not where I was going, but I thank you for telling us that. You got an A?
Not only that, because I did Stairway to Heaven it was my first class. So this is intro to guitar, and I played Stairway to Heaven for my final exam. So I came back the next.
You didn't tell them you wrote it, did you?
I did. This is mine. This is an original. But this is the greatest moment of my life. I swear it is. I came back the next semester. I walked in. And it was a different teacher, but he recognized me. He's like, "Are you the guy that did Stairway to Heaven for your final exam?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Yeah, you should just probably skip this class and just go on to the next one." And I got to walk out of there like, "That's right." Walk out of the class, and I went and registered for the third class, skipped the second one. And it was like, fuck, I wish I would have did the rock and roll devil horns walking it, but I was just, way full of myself.
You knew
at that point.
One day you would be the leader of Big Jack Pneumatic.
But
yes,
I will always remember that as one of the most badass moments in my life.
That is pretty
Getting
cool.
thrown out of class because I don't need to be there.
So no, where I was going with Stairway to Heaven was there was a version of the song that charted on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, reaching number 89.
Dance mix?
In 1986. Do you have any memory of this?
No.
It was a top 10.
86.
A top 10 in the UK, but it wasn't Led Zeppelin's version. It was a British supergroup. I have no memory of this. I have no memory of Stairway to Heaven, but I think in 86, that's not what I was listening to, so maybe if I even heard it, I didn't know.
But I was listening to AOR and what would become classic rock stations. I was listening to that.
If it reached number 89, that means it got a lot of airplay.
Yeah.
But I have no memory of this. This is a supergroup called Far Corporation. Do you have any recollection of it? Me neither. Me neither.
No.
I was reading about this and I got to check this out because I'd never heard of this. And then to find out they had a hit with a very well-known song in 1986.
Well-known is the understatement.
Yeah, in 1986. So they're the only band to chart Stairway to Heaven.
86. 86, Paula Abdul was on the radio. Tears
all your hair
Fears.
bands are just kicking up. Yeah, you got all your new wave stuff kind of going more
Duran
rock.
was still kicking it. Madonna. And then Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, and it's a 9-minute version.
They didn't edit it.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure there had to be a single edit. There's no way they played 9 minutes.
Radio stations.
It got an 89, number 89 hit. But yeah, so Far Corporation were a multinational band created by German record producer Frank Farian, which is why they called it Far Corporation.
Okay.
He is also responsible for groups Boney M, which I don't remember that one, but I do remember the other group he was responsible for, Milli Vanilli.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this group included actual musicians. Milli Vanilli did not.
Well, they had people holding instruments.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, I think they were just singing and dancing, but still. This group had 3 guys. These are players. 3 guys from Toto. So you had Bobby Kimball, keyboards. You had David Patch, I believe. No, he has the keyboardist. Bobby Kimball was the vocalist. Mm-hmm. So the vocalist, the keyboardist, and then Steve Lukather on guitar.
Damn.
So you know the guitar is
good.
He's a
ringer, yeah.
Yeah. So he's the one playing Page's parts on what you're about to hear. Drummer was Simon Phillips. He's well-known. Jeff Beck, Pete Townsend. And vocalist, a guy we talked about recently, one Robin McCauley.
Oh, the Macaulay Culkin Schenker Group.
From the Macaulay Schenker Group.
Yes.
Formerly the Michael Schenker Group.
Yes.
Yes. And Robin, I think, only sings on this song and one other on the album. They had, I think, the guy from Toto sang the rest of it. But it's a very mixed bag of an album. It's like kind of poppy, kind of, there's like a little bit of new wavy sound on some stuff. It came out in 86. So it's like trying to hit everything that was going on at that time. The band promoted this on a German TV show called Rock Pop. And who was in the audience but Robert Plant?
Oh, damn.
And he went backstage and he congratulated Robin McCauley.
I was going to say,
such a great job.
Kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah, no.
What the hell are you doing?
He congratulated Robin McCauley.
Okay,
this is before Robin McCauley joins Michael Schenker.
Okay.
This is where he was right before he went to MSG. So they do have this is one of the bands that tried to keep going, but they tried to release a second album in 87. It didn't come out. It got shelved. And then in 94, they did put out another album, but it was all different musicians, completely different things. So this is kind of a project band and just a very odd album, but I know this is long, but if you've never heard this,
I got nowhere to go.
And yes, it's Stairway to Heaven. I know it's hallowed ground. You're not supposed to play this, but this was actually a hit in 1986. Like I just listen, and they 86 it up a bit. So.
I can't wait.
Enjoy.
That glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed, with a word she can get what she came for. And she's buying a stairway. A sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, 'cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird who sings. Sometimes all of our thoughts are misgiven. When I look to the west and my spirit is crying for leaving. In my thoughts I have seen rings of smoke through the trees and the voices of those who stand looking. And she's buying a stairway to heaven, and it's whispered that soon, if we all call the tune, then the piper will lead us to reason. And
Holy damn. Holy damn. What the piss? I mean,
right?
God. It was 1986 was all over
it,
amongst it, underneath it, around it.
At one point, I thought maybe Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel had come in and helped a little bit too.
That was a year after the big In the Air Tonight. They did it 20 times. They're like, once is good.
I think they recorded it while watching Miami Vice.
It totally was. How was this not on Miami Vice? They could have put some snippets of that in there.
Yeah. So the album actually came out in 85, but the single was 86. So I keep saying 86,
so
but that's when the single came out.
I don't know when In the Air Tonight. Was that 84?
I think it had to be around there.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, they were using the same effects on the drums.
Well, and Toto had some hits, so they knew what they were doing. And man, did they not just...
And it was longer. I thought, okay, they're going to shorten a little bit, but no.
They not just 80s all over this thing?
Just all over it. But it started off, they moved it along quicker. Like the original Stairway to Heaven has stops and starts.
Oh, yeah, it's one tempo.
Yeah,
and
they just kept it going. We're going to get to the good stuff. They knew what was coming. I didn't know. I'm like, what's the rush? This is a good song. Take your time. No. They're like, wait.
I was fist pumping when you heard that bass come in. Dunk, 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 dunk. Like, oh, here we go.
I mean, I heard that. I heard a little bit of Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Yeah.
Because Pink Floyd went 80s.
Is there anybody out there?
And then
it threw a little Roger Waters.
It went back to, The Wall, Pink Floyd. So they had both Pink Floyds, Gilmore's and that other guy.
I did have that Dogs of War.
Yeah, yeah, because Momentary Lapse of Reason, that whole album was nothing.
That was 87.
87. Yeah, it was all 80s. You can tell. I love it, but you can hear from the bass lines and the synths and everything. So
I have no recollection of this ever being played on anything.
I would have remembered that because that was epic. I would have loved that.
Yeah, so Robin McCauley goes from here to join MSG.
Yeah. And that was
just
and I have to admit it, that was better than my version. That got me an A.
This is an A+.
And it was not an A+. I got just a regular A because I messed up a couple of times.
This probably got an A+.
But that was probably an A+. I would give that an A+. Everything. I mean, the harmonies. Okay, so
Zeppelin purists will absolutely. They must have just hated this.
Oh, at the time. Now
they were probably just vomiting in their mouth.
Yeah. Now, up until this point, my favorite version of that was actually the Ann Wilson version. I think it was the Kennedy Center Awards. It was the one she was singing. Jason Bonham was playing drums. They had a full choir.
I've seen that.
And it comes out. The choir shows up.
Led Zeppelin are up. They're all just smiling. They're
and I think Robert Plant wipes away some tears. And it's just one of the most amazing performances. And she just tears it up.
Well, when they did their Love Mongers stuff, that was like Heart's side project. Love Mongers, it was like acoustic, and they did a ton of Zeppelin.
Yeah,
they actually did some Zeppelin when I saw them a couple months ago. They
really?
Great. Yeah,
they pulled it off well.
Man, they still got it.
They still got it. Yeah, she still sounds good.
Just wow, this band.
I'm glad you put that at the end. You can't top that one.
Do you know that on this album, Far Corporation, that's the first song?
Oh, they just lead off with that and go, "Well, fuck it."
We're just gonna start with a 9-minute song. Yeah, the guy that begat Milli Vanilli. Mm-hmm.
What a messed up world this is.
This is crazy.
That is the most bizarre combination of we're going to do this, and now I'm going to go do that. Because money talks.
Exactly.
And that's all he cared about at that point.
Exactly. And it was obvious they were trying to make a hit.
Yeah. And they did. I mean, not numbers wise, but that was everything you can do to make a good song.
It was everything. I mean, it was everything but Prince coming in the room and putting some Prince guitar on there.
Basically, it's like one of those tribute concerts where they're all standing on the stage shredding. And
this is like We Are the World.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder's over there reading off the wrong piece of music.
Yeah, Stevie was playing drums. All right. Well, that's what I got for you. I figured that was a good ender for us.
That was a good one. I can't wait to listen to that again.
A Supergroup and Offshoot, just crazy version of a song that you never would have thought
musicians doing that.
Be a hit, but apparently it was.
Steve just never ceases to amaze me.
Oh, yeah. Amazing guitarist. All right, man. Well, let's see. I think if I'm doing my calculations right, we've only got a few weeks until Gothtober.
It looked like it. There's the hurricanes, the storms moving in.
Yeah.
Well, the remnants of it. So, yeah, it's going to get some good rain tonight. It's going to be gothy, very gothy tonight.
All right. Well, I've got some things planned. It's going to be good.
I can't wait.
Well, it's going to be as good as it could be, I guess.
Well, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it is. It could be. It could just be sort of okay.
Take it with a jar of salt.
All right, people. Until next time, later!